It is the pre-dawn hours, 4:50 a.m., and it's been a great day, great few days. What would make today even better is if I filmed TV fights. So, to make sure I'm on the right track here of documenting all the important stuff, good stuff that I'm doing, useful, productive stuff that I'm doing, I'm streaming this. I could do it without streaming, but I like this other element of streaming because it helps me stay focused on the task at hand instead of convincing myself to procrastinate. Okay, so for example, I just uploaded literally like an hour or two, maybe I think it was 8 p.m. Maybe I forgot, but just very recently just uploaded a video, then latest short film, 11th grade. And yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna check the views on that. And in the time that I start planning the next one, I hope to start planning the next one in about a month. I don't want to plan for a next short film this month, July. However, I have some light ideas of what I want to see planned out a little bit, aberrations and stuff. Is that the correct term? Yeah, but yeah, so in that time, filling it with watching classic comedy for the inspiration, for the taste. But before doing that, I rewarded myself with a little bit of Charlie Chaplin and some YouTube, I guess, in the hours that I finished it. But now, hours later, I think, yes, the right course of action isn't to get distracted and to watch, consume content. The right course of action right now is to film, go ahead and finish TV fights. In fact, I'm contemplating whether I wear a suit for it. I'm thinking I should wear the suit. The bow tie is a pain in the ass to put on, but that's okay. The suit looks good even without it. So, before I jump into filming TV fights, I do feel like reading my previous notes, um, because that will really get me into the TV presenter character mode. All right, I'm done my best to get into director mode, actor mode, this whole process of TV reviews. So TV Fight 7, that's gonna be what comes to fruition. Shit, the camera was already in focus. Whatever, I'll wing it. I'm sure it looks okay. But yeah, so I'm gonna start this writing sprint here, and essentially, yeah, this first sprint, I'm going to be reading my TV notes, and then after that, yep, we're jumping right into TV Fights 7. Woo woo. Let's go, Mr. Pratik. It's good that I'm wearing this suit again after about a month, over a month since the wedding that I bought this for. But yeah, I hope I handle it a little bit more carefully because it does need to be pressed. But for now, it'll do. Okay. Time to read. I am the TV fight, TV fight. I'm going to jail. Points of global transmissions, marvel at the amazing process and the fancy way of presenting mainstream entertainment. People that make commercial radio, pay for like commercial advertisers. Imagination. Be the comic relief. 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 Remarkable simplicity and elegance in its execution. Elegance in its execution and remarkable simplicity. Writing a whole batch of episodes. Writing a whole batch of episodes, remarkable simplicity. Writing a whole batch of episodes, remarkable simplicity. That's pretty much it for my TV notes. Let me go write that down and then let me just jump right into my thing. Feeling great. Hey, why'd the TV turn on? Tuesday Night Live. Tuesday Night Live. Tuesday Night. Tuesday Night Live. Just tapping into this experience before I actually film. Tuesday Night Live. Elegance and simplicity. Batch of 5 episodes at a time. Batch of 5 episodes at a time. Batch of 5 episodes at a time. Tuesday Night Live. Humanitarian. Remarkable humanitarian. Elegance, simplicity, elegance. Pre-dawn hours. You got this, Blake. Let's do it. I like how in season 4, Jimmy is considered I like how at the end of season 4, Jimmy is considered insincere after his reinstatement hearing. But then after he uses Chuck's sympathy, I like how at the end of season 4, at Jimmy's reinstatement hearing, he is considered. I like how at the end of season 4, at Jimmy's. I like how at the end of season 4, after Jimmy's reinstatement hearing, he is considered insincere. After he represents. After he references a famous case about evidence after he references a famous case about witnesses giving testimony being the only evidence being permissible. And then after Jimmy uses the sympathy of Chuck. And then after Jimmy plays towards the sympathy. And then after Jimmy Then after Jimmy mentions Chuck, he feels like. And then after Jimmy mentions Chuck and then fools everyone, Jimmy says he feels like he just broke the Matrix. Jimmy says he feels like he just broke the Matrix, like he's able to control everything. Everything's at his will. Might need to charge my camera in a minute. But let me redo that one. Really like how I really like how at the end of season 4, Jimmy is considered insincere after his reinstatement hearing, and he references a court case about how witnesses are mandated, about how witness accounts are the only thing permissible, about how witness accounts in courts are the only evidence permissible. Something about how witness accounts in court, something about how witness accounts, something about how witness accounts in court are the only evidence permissible. And then Jimmy references Chuck. And then Jimmy references his relationship with. And then Jimmy references his relationship. And then Jimmy references his relationship with Chuck, and suddenly he feels like he just broke the Matrix. Where everything is at his will. And that's probably kind of why he's so on board. And that's probably why he's so on board with going out of his way to pull elaborate schemes. The events leading up to the events leading up to Howard Hamlin's death really makes you question things. Breaking Bad also does a great job. Breaking Bad also does a great job. Breaking Bad also does a great job making you question why certain things happen over and over again. Like Lalo's trigger happy, the wrong place at the wrong moment. Howard said that he was going to expose Kim and Howard said he was going to expose Kim and Jimmy. That might be what Lalo heard and set him off. and even what led up to Ignacio's death. Such unique characters, and that's so hard to do. I really love the scenes with Kim's post-it notes. And the opening shot in season 6, episode 3 is one of my favorite opening shots of all time. It's a tracking dolly shot in the desert, and then it starts to rain, and then it zooms in a flower. Absolutely impressive. The show, I love that the show doesn't. I love how the show doesn't try too hard to be innovative. It stays very traditional to things like macro close-ups in filmmaking, especially to things like macro close-ups in filmmaking. I love how it makes Albuquerque look a lot less underlyingly depressing, but you see what led up to the climate of Breaking Bad. I love how it made the climate of Albuquerque look a little less depressing, but you see what led up to its climate, to how it was depicted in Breaking Bad. All right. Pretty good stuff so far. Gus knows that he needs a soldier in Mike. Gus knows that he needs a soldier in Mike, and I love the way you see the way Mike is a little bit way more cold. Because if you notice in Breaking Bad, Mike is actually relatively a little bit more cheerful than he is in Better Call Saul. The scenes with Jimmy and his the scenes with Jimmy and his the scenes with Jimmy and his amateur student film crew really remind me of the scenes with Jimmy and his amateur film crew. The scenes with Jimmy and his amateur student film crew. The scenes with Jimmy and his amateur student film crew really, to me, symbolize the sort of false advertising in television. And I love the way the sort of copyright cowboy symbol for Mesa Verde comes back to help in favor of Kim and Jimmy in that storyline arc, in that season's arc. Lalo showing off Gus's meth lab and then humming the 2001 Space Odyssey type of music. Just dedicating a whole season arc to the building of the meth lab was just absolutely such a good call. And the Gene Takovic timeline really does such a great job with such a depressing. The Gene Takovic timeline does a great job with its depressing nature, really feeling distinct from the events of after Ozymandias and Felina. And yeah, personally, I think Saul got an unfair sentence. I personally think that, yes, you have to sympathize with the fact that Walter and Jesse kidnapped him. Saul was not going to initially take the bribe. I think we need to take that into account. He was a willing participant. But I think 86 years is a bit unfair. I do think he has a good chance of parole. I think 86 years is a bit unfair if you ask me. Yeah, I absolutely love those lines. I absolutely love that line. Walter White could not have done it without me. Kim's breakdown, Kim's breakdown almost makes me want to cry. Kim's breakdown on the bus makes me want to cry. Kim's breakdown on the bus with black hair makes me want to cry almost. And the bus chant. And when Saul's going to jail, the bus chant. Better call Saul. And when Saul's going to jail, the bus chant. And when Saul's going to jail, the bus chant makes me want to cry a little. And yeah, just like Hank Schrader and Walter White, Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill is just really good at his job as a lawyer. Like in the episode 51, the way Mike takes charge with his little catchphrase, the way Mike takes charge, like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. That's low-key Mike's catchphrase. Telling Jimmy to spill the coffee on the other telling Jimmy to spill the coffee on the other detectives, and Jimmy doesn't want to do it. But then when Jimmy learns that something shady might have happened to Mike's son, he decides to help him. And so I really don't see too much of a difference morally between Saul Goodman and Jimmy McGill. You do see a big distinction between the Gene Takovic character. You do see a big distinction between the Gene Takovic timeline, and I love watching the Nippy episode. I love watching the Nippy episode more than the Breaking Bad episode, but I really appreciate the 3 flashbacks in the Breaking Bad episode. The match cut from seeing Saul first walk up to Walter's high school, taking the opportunity, to him breaking into people's houses in black and white. Yeah, I really hope this isn't an end to the Breaking Bad Albuquerque. So yeah, I really hope this isn't the end to the Breaking Bad universe. I really hope there's other spin-offs. That was really good. I think that's pretty much it. That was amazing. That only took 20 minutes. Okay. Next, we just do the Drake and Josh thing, and then we're set. You hear me? Wow. You put your mind to things, and things turn out. Yeah. Okay. Let me go get the Drake and Josh notes real quick. But first, wait. I think I might have some more Better Call Saul notes on my iPhone. Real quick. I love how we see that Saul kind of loses his reputation. I love how we see that Saul kind of loses. I love how we see that Saul kind of loses his reputation with the other lawyers after he helps free Lalo. This was the transition between Jimmy and Saul, that he became a bad criminal lawyer. But he gave Walt some great advice, like make hay while the sun is still. But he gave Walt some great advice, like make hay while the sun is still shining. Only problem is there does feel like there's a lot of toothbrushing scenes. Am I wrong? Okay. Wow. 20 minutes and it's done with the Better Call Saul review. Okay. Next is the Drake and Josh review. Let me get that notebook. Here we are. Sun is rising. All right. I think I should take a 5-minute break. I don't know how to just jump right into Drake and Josh tonally from Better Call Saul when I have that on my mind now. So yeah, I'm gonna take about a 5-minute break, just kind of chill, scroll my phone, I guess, use the bathroom for a second, and yeah, shit. Do I have to take all this off as I use the bathroom? I guess. Yeah. All right, you guys. Yep. So, felt like I wanted to take longer than 5 minute break until I start the Drake and Josh review, but no, it's best to jump into it. Oh, that's a big, disgusting little bug that I have to kill right now. Fuck out of here. I killed it. I think I killed it. Oh! Ah! It fell! Why are there so many bugs? Oh, that was kind of scary. Anyway, yeah. Compose myself. Because I feel like after I do this, then I want to give myself another time frame for TV Fights 8. Then I give myself a break until next year. Then I plan TV Doctor Who Fights 7 and 8. Then give myself a break on that till next year. So let me just make sure I have all the optimal notes on me. Not in this notebook. I was flipping through this last notes. Otherwise, I don't have the notes that I'm looking for. Come on, I had more notes than this. One second. I have more notes than this. I should. Otherwise, that's okay if I don't. Yep, I think I pretty much looked at the notes I need. I can do this Drake and Josh review. Did I brush my teeth? Not yet. Is there anything else I need to do before I jump into the review? Not really. Stay tuned for more, guys.